What's going on, guys? CKD wants to do a better video, and we're going to be going over the E3 2016 conference for Ubisoft. They opened the conference with a big dance routine, debuting Just Dance 2017, and they announced that it will be coming out for all video game platforms, PC, and even the NX, coming out next year in 2017. Next up, they debuted some Ghost Recon Wildlands gameplay, and it looked very impressive. It looked very cool, very polished. It looked a little bit like Metal Gear Solid 5, and it actually did impress me. It wasn't something that I was, waiting on or looking out for, but this debut of the gameplay really did catch my attention, and it showed, very, large open world maps and very, vast different environments that you can travel to, and they said that this was their biggest open world that they've ever built, and the game looked very tactical, and you can play it one player or with your friends, so there's no issue in that. And also that they dropped the date on the game, which will be coming out March 7th, 2017. My highlight of this Ubisoft conference was definitely the debut of South Park Fractured But Whole. It was extremely funny. It actually had me laughing out loud, like, that's not even a joke. I was actually laughing out loud. It was very funny. They had jokes about the DC comics and the way Marvel does their whole universe with the movies and stuff like that. It was very funny. And so you play as a hero in South Park. And what I mean by that is that, like, you are the new guy on the block, right? And so you and the other kids on the block reenact being heroes. So you have hero abilities like, super strength or whatever else they showed, and they also showed new combat mechanics and stuff like that. And also they announced that if you buy Fractured But Whole, you get the Stick of Truth for free for a limited time. So if you if you are for sure gonna get Fractured But Whole, might as well just buy it now. You get a free copy of Stick of Truth, so you can play through that or whatever. And the game is coming out December 6th, 2016. Next up, they moved on to The Division, and they announced some more details on the Underground content pack that will be coming out on August 2nd for PlayStation 4. A little bit earlier for Xbox, but it's coming out on August 2nd for PlayStation 4. They also announced 3 new outfits upon the launch of Underground for commemorating Ubisoft and their 30th birthday. So, I believe it was outfits from Splinter Cell and other games under Ubisoft's Tom Clancy games. They also debuted the Survival expansion. It takes place in another part of the city. I believe it was Manhattan, but I'm not 100% sure. And it is where, these harsh weather conditions leave you, without water, without food, because it's very hard to come by those things, I guess, in that part of the city. And I guess it's a expansion to the map for The Division. They didn't announce any date, but they did say it's coming soon, so I'm thinking more of a December release or early 2017 release along those lines, but it will be coming out soon if you're interested in the expansion. Next up, they showed a virtual reality game called Eagle Flight, where you play as an eagle, and you have the perception of vision through your VR headset, and it's basically a capture flag game where you have to get a dead rodent and then bring it back to your nest. And there's 2 teams. You guys are fighting over it. The best out of 3 wins the match, and it will be available for the Oculus Rift and other VR headsets later in the year. Keeping on the VR trend, they also announced a Star Trek VR game. Basically, it was a cockpit type of role-playing game where you play in the cockpit of the Starship Enterprise in Star Trek VR, and the game is called Star Trek Bridge Crew, and it will be coming out this fall for a various amounts of VR headsets. They showed a dope trailer for For Honor. It was very cool visuals, very cool stuff that they showed for Honor, and it reminded me a lot of God of War for some reason. I don't know, it was just because they showed gameplay of a Viking, and he was very brutal and used swords and axes and whatever, but it did remind me a lot of God of War, and it will be coming out February 14th, 2017, just on Valentine's Day. And they also announced that there will be an alpha coming soon for the game. So if you want to play For Honor, look out for that alpha. It will be coming out very shortly. Next up, they announced a platformer type of game called Grow Up, and it features like a little robot type of thing. I know I have seen that robot before. I believe that was at last year's E3. I just forgot the name of the game, but it's like a little red robot, and it will be coming out pretty soon here on August 2016. So we only have a couple months and weeks to wait for this game, and it will be coming out for current gen consoles and the PC. Another game that was announced that was pretty weird was called Trials of the Blood Dragon, and it's from the devs of Trials and from the devs of Far Cry Blood Dragon, and they mixed the two and came up with Trials of the Blood Dragon, where you're basically playing Trials in these insane environments and these insane retro bright color tracks where, you know, it looks super cool, it looks super dope, it looks really fun. And they actually announced that it was out now, so you can go and download that, and you can play it right now. And it wouldn't be an Ubisoft conference without talking about Assassin's Creed, am I right? And even though they're not coming out with a new Assassin's Creed game this year, they went on to talk about the movie that's coming out later this year in December, and they put out a new trailer and some new footage on the movie, and some stuff that was exclusive to E3 2016. So yeah, they just showed some stuff about Assassin's Creed movie. Yeah. They also debuted Watch Dogs 2 gameplay, and the open world looked very, very clean. It looked very nice. It looked very clean cut. It looked very refined and looked very good, in my opinion at least. And they were playing through a mission, and it was very the same from Watch Dogs 1. And what I mean is that like you would, you know, get the jump on a level by going through the cameras in the corners of the room, so you can, you know, scope out the enemies and see where they're at. And I really do like the new character Marcus, right? He just seems much more alive. He seems much more human than Aiden Pierce, right? Aiden Pierce, he was a very like emotional dad. He got some issues. He always wore a freaking trench coat. He wore a freaking top hat, like, well, okay, not a top hat. He wore a baseball cap, but you know, the homie just looked, you know, very. Aiden just looked very depressed all the time. You know, Marcus, he's alive. He's in his youth. He's in his prime. You know what I'm saying? He's jumping around, building stuff. Like, he looks like a very fun character to play with. And I was left really impressed by this Watch Dogs 2 demo. And they announced that the PlayStation 4 gets DLC first for Watch Dogs 2. And they also mentioned something about a Watch Dogs movie, which I think that they will be opening up Watch Dogs to be made into a movie in the same way Assassin's Creed is being made into a movie right now. They also announced a special edition of Watch Dogs 2 that will be dropping, which will include a robot that is featured in the game, where you can hook it up to your phone and it can do stuff. You can control it, I guess, off of your phone. So it's a pretty big robot. It's pretty, you know, decent looking. It's a oval type of looking thing, and that will be coming in the special edition of Watch Dogs 2. And the last game to be announced at Ubisoft's E3 2016 conference was a new game called Steep. It is apparently a new IP, but it looks very similar to SSX that was released a couple years ago. It is a action game set in the Alps, and you are jumping out of helicopters and parachuting and snowboarding and skydiving, and it looked like a tech demo. It looked pretty basic, nothing insane. It looked, I mean, I don't know, that's nothing that I would play. And they announced a Steep beta that will be coming later this year, so if you're interested in getting your hands on this new Steep game, look out for the beta that will be coming out later this year. My issue with the Ubisoft conference was that it was exorbitantly long, right? It was 2 hours long. And I'm looking at the list I made from this conference versus Microsoft, and Microsoft fit way more stuff into their conference in a short amount of time as opposed to Ubisoft. Ubisoft just, they took so long and they just milked things that should not have been milked in the conference. Like, it was just a super long conference. I feel like if they shorted it down to like an hour and a half, if they just cut off 30 minutes of that conference, I felt like it would have had a better reception. Like, the conference wasn't bad, right? Like, it's not like it wasn't bad. It was no EA conference, but it was just super long, man. It was super long. It was it was way too long, but it was a pretty good conference. So that's all I gotta say about Ubisoft's E3 2016 conference. Let me know in the comments below, what games did you like seeing at this conference? What games you wish were at this conference? Do you think 2 Chainz will play that Eagle Flight VR to get high as hell? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, check out my description. You can find my Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all the good stuff. You can follow me on there, see what's popping in my day-to-day life. And also, while you're down there, please support the video, support the content. If you enjoyed the video or the content, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff where you can support the boy. And thank you guys for watching, and as always, I got you.